All right, who wants to do the honors? Yeah. We're on live? Okay. Let me get some more pictures in here. Okay. Good evening. Welcome to the City of Hialeah Planning and Zoning Board meeting for Wednesday, April 9th, 2025. Everyone, please rise for the invocation and the Pledge of Allegiance.
Dear Lord, thank you for the opportunity you give us tonight to make and help us with your great wisdom to make the right decisions for our constituents on this evening tonight. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. May be seated.
Meeting guidelines. The following guidelines apply to today's Planning and Zoning Board meeting. Any person, whether participating via the web platform, telephonic conferencing, or physical presence at City Hall, interested in making comments or posing questions on any item on the agenda may do so during the meeting. Members of the public may hear the meeting live through telephonic conferencing using any telephone or cellular phone service. A smart device or computer are not necessary to participate in the meeting if you join by phone. All persons participating via the web platform will be muted during the meeting until called upon to be heard. Participation through Zoom requires a computer or smart mobile device with a microphone and web camera. The participant may elect to participate in the meeting using audio only or appear through both audio and video. The video function of all participants appearing through video will be turned off until called upon to be heard. All lobbyists must register with the Planning and Zoning Board prior to item being heard. A maximum of 4 speakers in favor and 4 speakers in opposition will be allowed to address the Planning and Zoning Board on any item. Each speaker's comments will be limited to 3 minutes. Item number 1, roll call. Mr. Perez?
Here.
Mr. Mason?
Here.
Mr. Iglesias?
Here.
Mr. Jimenez?
Here.
Mr. Ulloa?
Here.
Mr. Santiesteban is absent. Mrs. Enriquez? Here. We have a quorum. Item number 2. Approval of Planning and Zoning Board summary agenda of March 26, 2025 as submitted.
We need a motion, please.
Motion to approve. Second motion.
We have a motion by Mr. Ulloa, second by Mr. Iglesias. Mr. Perez?
Yes.
Mrs. Enriquez?
Yes.
Mr. Ulloa?
Yes.
Mr. Jimenez?
Yes.
Mr. Iglesias?
Yes.
Mr. Mason?
Yes.
Item has been approved. Administration of oath to all applicants and anyone who will be speaking before the board on any item.
Do we have anyone on Zoom? Okay, anyone and everyone that's going to speak in front of the board, please stand, raise your right hand so we can swear you in. Todas las personas que van a presentar testamento, por favor, necesitamos jurarlo.
Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth before this board? ¿Usted jura o afirma decir la verdad ante esta junta?
Thank you. Let the record show that the answer was on the affirmative.
A written decision and resolution will be prepared and presented for review to the City Council. The City Council is authorized to affirm with conditions, or override the decisions by resolution. After the resolution is adopted, contact the member of the City Clerk's office to obtain a copy of the final decision and resolution. Upon your receipt of the final decision and resolution, contact the Building Department to obtain your required building permit. Summary minutes or a copy of the audio file of the proceedings before the Planning and Zoning Board shall be prepared and submitted to the City Council before its hearing. The Planning and Zoning Board recommendations for the following public hearing requests will be heard by the City Council at a scheduled meeting of Tuesday, May 13th, 2025. Item number 3. Final decision to allow a west side setback of 5.60 feet where 6 feet are required for an existing aluminum roof to be legalized, and to allow a rear setback of 10 feet where 20 feet are required for a proposed addition to the main structure. Property is located on 950 West 37th Street, Hialeah Zones R1, One Family District. Applicant, Malva Danger, on behalf of Amaury Diaz de la Núñez and Yumei Galan Cabello.
Okay. Name and address.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Malva Danger. I'm a permit expediter and I'm working on behalf of the owner.
Okay, name and address, please.
950, I don't know if my memory, sorry, I have a lot of projects. 950 West 37th Street, Hialeah, Florida, 33032.
Thank you. You say you're working on behalf of the owner.
I am a permit expediter at MIA Permits LLC, and what I'm doing is, running the plans in the building department, and I'm coming on behalf of the owner, that is correct.
Does she have, her?
Yes,
She does? Okay.
yes, I do. Everything is in order.
Thank you.
Thank you.
She'll read it into the record and then we'll talk about it.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
This property is located on the south side of West 37th Street between West 9th and 10th Avenue. The property has been developed as a single-family home in 1961 with 1,575 square feet. The property is currently receiving homestead exemptions. Over the years, it has been issued code enforcement violations. In 2002, the Code Compliance Department opened a case regarding a possible illegal unit. This case was later closed, but another violation was issued under case 2024-13702 for building without a permit for the enclosure of a side terrace and a rear addition. Staff's review of the city's microfilms confirmed that several permits have been obtained for driveways, rear fence, roof, but none for a rear addition and a terrace enclosure. The applicant is submitting this final decision to allow 2 setback reductions. One is a reduced size setback for an existing open side aluminum terrace and 2 for the proposed rear addition. The applicant is proposing to demolish the existing rear terrace, an addition, and reconstruct the rear addition as a master bedroom. The master bedroom proposal is encroaching 10 feet into the rear addition, requiring this final decision. Staff has no objections to the setback reductions since these are not negatively affecting the neighboring properties, and the proposal includes improvements to the lot. However, the final decision shall be approved with the following conditions. Obtain demolition permits for the rear illegal addition and for the concrete removal in the rear yard. The concrete removal is required to comply with the pervious area requirement on residential lots. Obtain all permits for the proposed rear addition prior to commencing any work. Plant a minimum of 3 trees in the lot. At least one of the trees shall be in the front yard. Recommendation approval with conditions.
Thank you, Mrs.
That's
George.
great news. Thank you very much. And we are working on all that and working on permitting. And there are new owners and they bought it in those conditions. And right away, I explained to them that they should do it the right way and legally and proceed to close that violation. So I thank you so much. Thank
Okay.
you.
So safe to say that you agree, you understand and you agree the conditions.
That there are conditions on how to keep it, but I am allowed, but there are conditions.
Yes.
So I'm gonna go over with the architect on the specifications of the condition, but I think I heard that we are, it will be allowed to stay, but
Well-
with conditions.
Her recommendations are favorable, so
They are, and thank you. I
So-
appreciate you all.
any comments or questions on the board? Anyone in the audience have a comment or question on this item? Closest part of public hearing was the pleasure of the board.
Motion to approve with conditions.
With conditions?
We had a motion by Mrs. Enrica, second by Mr. Iglesias. Mr. Mason,
Yes.
Mr. Perez.
Yes.
Mrs. Enrica. Yes. Mr. Ulloa,
Yes.
Mr. Jimenez.
Yes.
Mr. Iglesias.
Yes.
Item has been approved with condition.
Thank you so
Okay.
much. And I do get a copy of all that, maybe online or through the department?
We can email it to you.
Okay, okay.
Does she need to come back?
Yes.
Yeah, May.
May 13th at 5:30.
May, right here?
Yeah.
Right here.
May 13, got it. I'll write it, I'll put it in the calendar. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You have a
good
great evening.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
The Planning and Zoning Board recommendations for the following public hearing requests will be heard by the City Council at a scheduled meeting of Tuesday, April 22nd, 2025. So item number 4, it's a tabled item from last meeting. We would have to remove it from table. Motion to remove from table.
Second that motion?
So we had a motion by Mrs. Enrica, second by Mr. Iglesias. Mr. Jimenez,
Yes.
Mr. Perez.
Yes.
Mrs. Enriquez.
Yes.
Mr. Ulloa,
Yes.
Mr. Mason,
Yes.
Mr. Iglesias.
Yes.
Item has been removed from table. Item number 4, variance permit to allow a total lot coverage of 48%, where 30% is the maximum allowed. Property is located at 1158 West 30th Street, Hialeah, zoned R2, 1 and 2 Family Residential District. Applicant Wilfredo W. Aguirre.
Are we, staff recommends to table this item. Are we going to, hear the applicant or,
Yeah. He needs to.
okay. Name and address, please.
Bueno,
Bueno, nombre y dirección.
Wilfredo Aguirre, 1158 West 30th Street.
Okay.
Wilfredo Aguirre, 1158 West 30th Street.
Necesita traducción, obviamente.
Sí, yo no hablo inglés.
Ok.
Yes, I
Cuando
don't speak
usted
English.
hable, deje un espacio
Ok.
para que ella pueda traducirlo,
Ok.
para que no nos confundamos. Ok.
Ok.
Perfecto.
The property is located mid-block along the south side of West 30th Street between West 11th Avenue and West 12th Avenue. The property includes 1.5 lot with a total area of 8,100 square feet and a street frontage of 60 feet, making the lot non-conforming. According to city records, this property has been improved with a one-story single-family home since 1957 and then enlarged in 1982 with an attached addition at the rear. However, the current survey reflects improvements for which no building permits were found on city records. In addition, the property has an open code violation and has a history of code complaints about trash and litter and building without permits. The property was last sold in December 2023 and is not currently a homestead property. According to the Miami-Dade County Property Appraisal, the 2023 sale is labeled as a typical exposure to market because the sale was recorded at $615,000. The property has R2 zoning, but it has been built and permitted as a single-family home. Even though the zoning permits, the proper building permits for conversion were never obtained. Therefore, this application, if approved, will legalize the duplex and also correct all improvements performed without the benefit of building permits. The submitted plans propose to create 2 residential units, one at the front and one at the rear of the existing structure of the property. Additional improvements are being included, such as a new driveway, new front carport, side covered terrace, new bathrooms, and new kitchen. However, since the lot has been overbuilt, a variance is being requested to allow for a greater lot coverage than permitted. The allowance is for 30% lot coverage, and the plans are seeking 48% coverage. There are certain items that shall be corrected in the plans before staff could consider the application as a conversion from single family to duplex. The following corrections shall be reflected on the plans. The rear yard shall be maintained as a green area with no slabs or pavement due to the existing large footprint of the structure. Swale trees shall be maintained. Canopy trees within the lot shall be provided as required by the landscape manual. The exterior door number shall be minimized since 6 exterior doors are proposed for 2 living units. The master bedroom kitchenette shall be removed and the interior layout of the residential units shall be revised to be consistent with a single unit use. Current layout has too many doors that are conducive to the creation of multiple living units, namely 4 instead of 2. Recommendation is to table the item until the plans are revised according to the above conditions. ¿Quiere que se lo traduzca? You need a translation. I will translate it.
Sí.
La propiedad está ubicada en la mitad del bloque en el lado sur de la calle 30 del Oeste, entre las avenidas 11 y 12 del Oeste. La propiedad incluye un lote y medio con un área total de 8.100 pies cuadrados y un frente de 60 pies, haciendo que el lote sea que no conforma con el código. De acuerdo a los récords de la ciudad, esta propiedad tiene un single family, una vivienda unifamiliar construida desde el año 1957, que fue luego agrandada en 1982 con una adición en la parte posterior. Sin embargo, el survey actual muestra mejoras para los cuales no se encontró ningún permiso de construcción. Además de eso, la propiedad tiene un caso abierto de código y tiene una historia de casos de código relacionadas con basura y con construir sin permisos. Esta propiedad fue vendida por última vez en diciembre de 2023 y no es actualmente una propiedad que tiene la excepción de homestead. De acuerdo con Miami-Dade County, la página del Property Appraisal, la venta del 2023 está nombrada como es una exposición atípica al mercado porque fue vendida a $615,000. La propiedad tiene un zoning R2, pero fue construida y permitida como una vivienda unifamiliar. Los permisos adecuados para hacer la conversión nunca fueron obtenidos. Por lo tanto, esta aplicación, si se aprueba, va a legalizar el dúplex y también corregir todas las mejoras que fueron construidas sin el beneficio de los permisos de construcción. Los planos presentados proponen crear 2 unidades residenciales, una en el frente y una en la parte posterior de la estructura existente de la propiedad. Otras mejoras se incluyen como un nuevo driveway, un nuevo carport en el frente, una terraza lateral cubierta, nuevos baños y nueva cocina. Sin embargo, como el lote fue construido en exceso, una variante se está pidiendo para solicitar una cobertura de terreno más grande de la que se permite. Lo que se permite es cubrir 30% del área del terreno y estos planes muestran que lo que se quiere cubrir es 48%. Hay algunos ítems que deben ser corregidos en los planos antes de que el staff pueda considerar esta aplicación como una conversión de vivienda unifamiliar a dúplex. Las siguientes correcciones deben ser reflejadas en los planos. El jardín de la parte posterior debe mantenerse como un área verde sin pavimento y sin concreto, dado que la estructura ya es demasiado grande y hay que cumplir con el porcentaje de área verde. El área del swale adelante de la propiedad hay un árbol que debe mantenerse. Árboles dentro del lote se tienen que proveer como requiere el manual de landscaping. El número de puertas exteriores deben ser minimizadas porque se están pidiendo 6 puertas exteriores para 2 unidades de vivienda. La cocina del master bedroom debe ser removida y la distribución interior de las unidades residenciales deben ser corregidas para ser consistentes con el uso de una vivienda, una única unidad. La distribución actual tiene demasiadas puertas que haría muy fácil la creación de unidades múltiples. Por ejemplo, exactamente serían 4 unidades en vez de 2. La recomendación es que este ítem quede en suspenso hasta que los planos sean corregidos de acuerdo a las condiciones mencionadas anteriormente.
Okay. Did you understand the recommendation? ¿Usted entendió la
Sí.
recomendación?
Yes.
Okay, she is
Get it.
basically recommending that this item should be tabled. Ella está recomendando que este caso, esta aplicación debe ser puesta en espera. And that you should come back and bring better plans, more updated,
Bueno, he should look at the recommendations and update the plans according to those
Okay.
recommendations. 2 units is 2 units, it's not 4 or 6, it's 2.
okay, una vez que la aplicación esté no suspendida, pero puesta en espera, para darle oportunidad a que usted venga y no necesariamente discutir, pero confirmar las las discrepancias que hay entre su aplicación y lo que pide la directora.
Okay.
Entonces, estamos recomendando ponerle una pausa a la aplicación hasta next meeting.
It's okay.
Yeah, until next meeting. O poner una pausa a esta aplicación 2 semanas en el futuro para el
Ok.
próximo reunión, usted y que ya usted tenga todos los papeles.
¿Le alcanza 2 semanas? Is it enough, 2 weeks?
En 2
¿Le
semanas.
alcanza 2 semanas?
En 2 semanas.
¿Le alcanzará para resolver todos estos, no errores, pero detalles que hay?
Sí, yo creo que sí.
Yes, I think so.
Es que
Y-
La casa yo la compré en esas condiciones.
Ah,
The house, I bought it in those conditions.
Quiero hacerle todos esos cambios debido a que es una zona de duplex.
I wanted to do all those changes because it's a duplex zone.
Yo vivo con mi hermano y su familia y mi mamá y mi papá.
And I live with my brother and my mother and my father.
La razón por la que quiero dividirlo es para que yo viva en un lado y yo en el otro.
The reason is so they can live in one side and I can live in the other.
Cuando compré la casa, hay un lugar que supuestamente era antes una terraza
When I
Y
bought the
los-
house, supposedly it was an area that it was a terrace,
y le hicieron una pared y lo cerraron.
and they did a wall and they enclosed.
Esa parte la estoy poniendo como para legalizarlo en los papeles.
That's the area that I want to legalize with the plans.
Y lo demás estaba construido así, en los microfilm lo dice.
And the rest, it was built like that in the microfilms.
Y ya, solamente quiero hacerlo todo de legal, que todo quede bien, no tener problema con nada.
I just want to do everything legal and have no more issues.
okay, thank you. Deborah, my concern is with the time frame. That's just so that he can get the paperwork straight, obviously, not the physical work, correct?
No, not the physical work, the plans.
The plans,
should
right.
be corrected, yes.
Okay. La pregunta es, si usted opina que en 2 semanas es suficiente tiempo para que usted corrija las deficiencias que hay en los papeles, en los planes, en la aplicación. No necesariamente el trabajo físico, pero lo que es la aplicación. 2 semanas
Sí,
le
sí,
es suficiente.
sí.
All right,
Yes.
all right, so basically, just ask them confirm that if 2 weeks is enough time for him to do the paperwork, not the physical work, but the paperwork. Yes,
Ah,
2 weeks, yeah,
Sí.
okay. ¿Usted está de acuerdo?
¿Puedo decir algo?
Sí,
Ok. Para yo entender.
sí.
Usted lo que se refiere a los comentarios que ustedes han puesto, que yo le dé respuesta.
Do you refer to the comments that you impose on me so I can give a response?
No, the comments are that you need to correct the plan, so maybe you want an appointment with our staff and the person that drew the plans, so they understand exactly how they need to revise the plans.
So-
Lo que estamos, bueno, lo que estamos diciendo es que usted lo que tiene que hacer es corregir los planos. Entonces, a lo mejor quiere solicitar una entrevista con la persona que le hizo los planos para que le explicamos exactamente las correcciones que tiene que hacer.
Ok.
Through the chair,
Yes, sir.
I don't think 2 weeks is gonna be enough for him.
Yeah.
to be honest with you.
¿Le
No,
alcanza 2 semanas? ¿Piensa que ellos le van a,
Yes.
va a poder ser en 2 semanas?
It's gonna be. Si quiere posponer,
puede-
Un poquito más, yo
que-
creo.
si quiere posponerlo indefinite or
No, 4 weeks.
4
Sí,
weeks.
4 weeks,
4
Sí,
weeks.
4 weeks.
4 semanas.
Okay, 4 semanas.
Es mejor.
Okay, that should,
That's more reasonable.
Yes. Okay.
4 weeks.
Yes.
So it will
So
be
we
Okay.
are tabling for May
Está
14th.
bien con esperándolo para 4 semanas.
Sí, está bien.
So you need a motion to table it, right?
Ya, durante ese tiempo, llama a su arquitecto para que pongan una cita con
Ok,
la oficina y que discutan o hablan,
ok,
tratar de arreglar ese problema.
ok. Así será.
So, within 4 weeks, 5 weeks? Okay, 5 weeks, okay, 5 weeks.
Ahí voy.
Okay, so in 5 weeks, you have 5 weeks to get with your architect and make an appointment with the staff and go through the plans and stuff and present the plans. Okay?
Okay.
Any comments or questions from the board? Anyone in the audience? Well, we're gonna try and table this, right?
Yeah.
So
Motion to
can
table.
you got a motion to table? Okay.
Second.
In a second.
We have a motion by Mr. Ulloa, second by Mrs. Enriquez. Mr. Jimenez,
Yes.
Mr. Iglesias,
Yes.
Mrs. Enriquez,
Yes.
Mr. Mason,
Yes.
Mr. Perez.
Yes.
Mr. Ulloa.
Yes.
Item has been tabled until May 14th, 2025.
Hasta mayo 14.
14 quedó
Ok.
el item en su.
En esas 5 semanas yo puedo llamar en cualquier momento para ver.
Bueno,
todo, ¿no?
llámelo
Lo más rápido posible.
Ok,
In those 5 weeks, I can call, and they said that you can call before.
as soon as
As soon
possible.
as possible. Lo antes posible para que llame a la oficina para coordinar la
la
entrevista.
reunión.
Sí.
Sí, así no corre el riesgo de que hay otro contratiempo.
Ok,
Okay, thank you.
thank you.
Mira, posiblemente háblate con este señor ahí. ¿Oíste? Háblate con ese señor ahí que te puede ayudar.
No, 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 no.
No, just recommend it.
Okay, so the next item is actually a tabled item from March 26, 2025 meeting. We need to remove it from table.
Motion to remove from table.
Second that motion.
We have a motion by Mrs. Enriquez, second by Mr. Iglesias. Mr. Perez,
Yes.
Mr. Mason,
Yes.
Mr. Iglesias,
Yes.
Mrs. Enriquez.
Yes.
Mr. Ulloa.
Yes.
Mr. Jimenez.
Yes.
Item has been removed from table. Item number 5. Variance permit to allow the expansion of an existing non-conforming 256 square feet manual car wash business granted by ordinance 90-139, issuing a special use permit to allow said use on property zoned B1, highly restricted retail district, where manual car wash use has never been an allowed use in the B1 zoning classification, where manual car wash is not a permitted use under section 98-1987. Where non-conforming manual car washes are only allowed on property zone C1, restricted retail commercial district, and C2, liberal retail commercial district. And where a declaration of restrictive covenants have been proffered in 1990 stating that the manual car wash would comply with sections A through G of ordinance 89-81. The proposed expansion includes the construction of an additional 460 square feet a structure replacing an existing 460 square feet metal roof built without the benefit of a building permit and in violation of a 1990 proffered declaration of restricted covenants, and that is inconsistent with the current building code requirements. Variance permit to allow 104 parking spaces where the existing shopping center was approved with 106 parking spaces and where 115 parking spaces are required. And variance permit to allow the landscape mitigation of 12 canopy trees, where only 4 canopy trees currently exist at the site that was originally approved with 20 canopy trees. Properties located at 5350 West 12th Avenue, Hialeah zoned B1, highly restricted retail commercial. Applicant Javier Gaitan on behalf of Jacinto Lam.
It's important. My agenda says 15 canopy trees.
Yes, 15.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
So
here
the-
it says it too.
Okay, so the variance permit to allow the landscape mitigation of 15 canopy
15,
trees.
yes, I apologize, 15 canopy trees, where 4 canopy trees currently exist.
Thank you.
Good
Go ahead,
afternoon,
please.
Javier Gaitan on behalf Dr. Jacinto Lam, 5350 West 12th Avenue.
Thank you, sir. Good evening.
The property in this application is a shopping center located at the southwest intersection of West 12th Avenue and West 51st Place. The property has commercial land use and is zone B1, that is the most restrictive, less intense commercial classification in the city code. The reason for the existing B1 zoning is that the subject property is surrounded by residential properties and uses compatible with residential, such as the church across the street on West 51st Place. The existing shopping center was issued a certificate of occupancy in 1980, including the existing building, a surface parking lot for 106 cars, and 20 large trees. In 1990, the property was granted a special use permit to allow a car wash in the property zone B1, where Ordinance 8981, adopted in August 1989, provided that car washes were first allowed in C1 and C2 zone properties. A declaration of restrictive covenants was proffered by the applicant at the time, stating that the car wash would operate from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. and would comply with sections A through G of Ordinance 8981. Sections A through G of the ordinance include, among other stipulations, that no car wash shall exceed 560 square feet. Since May 2019, new manual car washes are not permitted in the city, and the ones existing at the time would be permitted to operate as non-conforming use on property zones C1 and C2. After obtaining the special use permit, the property owner obtained a building permit to build a manual car wash in 1990, including a 256 square feet aluminum roof. Over the years, the manual car wash operation was expanded without the benefit of a building permit, and a second aluminum roof was built with area 460 square feet along the parking lot easternmost driveway. The expanded operation continued over the years with the occupational licenses renewed automatically annually. The illegal additions continued over the years, including the installation of a shed. The operator of the car wash did not conduct a neat operation and did not comply with sections A through G of the 1989 ordinance as provided in the Declaration of Restrictions. Consequently, and because of other issues impacting the operation of the shopping center owner did not renew their contract. At this time, the shopping center manager is requesting several variances with the intention to legalize the 460 square feet aluminum roof that expanded without permits the manual car wash use allowed by the 1989 SUP. Consultation with the building and fire departments indicated that the existing 460 square feet aluminum roof as built may not be legalized since it cannot comply with current building requirements, and that its location on a driveway could not be approved by the fire department. In addition, a landscaping recertification inspection was conducted where it was noticed that only 4 canopy trees remain from the 20 trees that were originally approved in the property, and 140 parking spaces are provided where the property was approved with 106 parking spaces. Staff recommends that given that the SUP granted in 1989 allowed a manual car wash with an area of 560 square feet, the applicant could be allowed to expand its operation by replacing the existing 256 square feet aluminum roof with a new state-of-the-art 560 square feet aluminum roof at the location approved in 1989. A new roof would provide adequate space for the manual car wash operation with better weather protection than the 1990 roof. Provide a storage area to comply with the requirement that supplies shall be screened from the public and not displayed in an unsightly manner, and contribute to the upgrade of the manual car wash operation. And we even prepare a sketch for him. Accordingly, a variance to expand the non-conforming use by allowing a new 560 square feet car wash canopy, a variance to allow 104 parking spaces, where 106 were approved in 1980, and a variance to allow mitigation of 16 canopy trees may be approved subject to the following conditions. The existing illegal 460 square feet roof will be demolished immediately. The new 560 square foot will replace the existing 256 square feet aluminum roof. Payment for mitigation of the trees will be provided upon submittal of the site plan review required for the aluminum roof replacement. And alternatively, the canopy trees with 12 to 14 feet height and 3-inch caliper will be installed at the property with the proper landscaping permit. Recommendation: approval of the expansion of the non-conforming use, parking variance, and landscape mitigation variance with conditions.
Thank you, Mr. Storch. Mr. Gaitan?
Yes, sir.
Did we get the paperwork in order from last meeting?
Mr. I'm sorry, but I don't know how to pronounce your last name. Alexander?
Yeah, well, I just wanted to get it on the record. I checked with him. He said he's good with it, but I need to hear it from you.
Yes.
Okay, so all your paperwork is
No,
on the up and up.
yes.
Do you have any comments or questions on this item?
Well, but what I need is try to legalize the canopy, which is in 12th Avenue, facing 12th Avenue.
Okay,
That's the main reason that we're here for.
okay. You understand the suggestions
The suggestions,
that she has put
I didn't want to
forth?
get involved with the suggestion, but at the very beginning, the first day I had the meeting with
Deborah.
Mrs. Storch,
Right,
I asked her if it can expand, if we can do something different. And she's no, they have to be the way it is, the way it was approved back then in 1980. And one day to another, she come up with that proposal, which is a good proposal, but I'm not able to do it right now. Probably in the future, I need to open the business, start making money. It's been closed for the last 7 months. And the last conversation that I had with her, she asked me for landscaping. Oh no, on we have a meeting with Mr. Sanchez, I believe, and zoning department. Let me see those microphones. And like I was explaining the last meeting, the trees, we do not took the trees off. Some of them died, some of them, the hurricane take them away. And I told her that I can be able to put it back the same way that it is on the microfilms. And she agreed to that.
Yeah.
And I'm willing to do that.
Okay.
Without a problem.
Sounds like you got it squared away.
Okay, now I have a question.
Yes.
Is, ¿cómo se llaman las matas que salen? Sí, ¿cómo se llaman?
Arbustos.
No, no.
Shrubs.
Shrubs.
Las que les da un mosquito blanco.
Gnats.
No. Ficus.
Bugs?
Ficus.
Oh,
Is the ficus considered a tree?
ficus?
Yes.
Ficus is an invasive species.
We have the landscape
We
architect.
have the, no? Yeah, okay, please come up here.
Because I did my search and they consider a tree and I have 72 of those there.
I don't think ficus and
I just wanted to make sure.
yeah, no.
Name and address? No.
Just Chris,
Chris Borges, City of Hialeah, 501 Palm Ave.
Yeah, okay.
The ficus that are on site are ficus shrubs. They're not the actual trees. They're there. Yeah, the ones that are against the property line, right?
The ones that are on the edge of the property.
Yeah, it's ficus shrubs. Yeah.
Can you keep
So they're
those?
not.
So can they be used or?
Can
No,
be
it
used?
wouldn't count towards mitigation,
Wouldn't count.
but they do have some trees on site.
For
They have
Trees and
four,
palms.
they have some,
Trees,
Yeah.
but I can put it the same way as the microfilm without a problem. She agreed to that
He needs
last
to
time
put
we
it-
had the meeting.
Yeah.
The issue here, the main issue here is that he wants to keep that aluminum roof that was built without permits, that is not approvable because it doesn't comply with the requirements, and the recommendation is no for that.
Okay, the last time we have a conversation with her on the phone and she says if I bring a plan, a landscaping plan, she will give me a good recommendation. Now she changed her mind.
Let me tell him, he presented the application. All the time he brought pictures. Pictures are not plans. He never prepared a plan. So we went ahead and we had the initiative and we don't need to do this. We did it as something to help him. We prepared a sketch of what can be done there to have like a larger operation. So we did that to help him. He never submitted any plans, only the plans showing the aluminum roof that he wants to legalize and that cannot be legalized. So we don't need here the compromise of him doing the new roof, but we need here to make clear that that roof that cannot be approved will not be permitted. That's my recommendation.
Okay, so bottom line is that roof's got to go and needs to be replaced or?
Not in that location. The first location at that time in 1990, when they built that roof in a location that was approved with 260 square feet, they could have done it with 560 square feet. So what I'm telling is you can still, we will allow you to rebuild that and do a larger roof, but the other roof that was built without permits in a location that never got a permit, that needs to go. And his purpose is to leave that roof.
Legalize the other roof.
Can that roof be legalized?
No.
Can
That
it be,
roof cannot be legalized. no.
can it,
For two reasons, because it doesn't comply with the building requirements. And also it's not something that was grandfathered, it's something that was built without permits, and also because it's in a driveway.
okay,
The driveway, we can merge the driveway with the other driveway. It takes only one parking space.
okay, well, she's the expert.
Yeah.
Her recommend,
Trying to propose.
her recommendation is, as you heard. Do you agree with it?
No, I would like to go
Or-
to the meeting, council meeting.
Well, yeah, we need, it's up to you.
Either way, he will go to he
Yeah.
will go to the council.
Right.
So if you're not going to approve that, he will be with a recommendation of denial,
Right, yeah.
and
I think
then
it's,
he will deal with the city
So,
council.
hold on a second, I'm confused. He doesn't wanna accept your recommendation.
No, I didn't say that, never say that. I'm sorry. I told her that that recommendation that she gave me 2 weeks ago is a very nice proposal, but I'm not able to do it right now.
Yeah,
I'm not-
let me explain you, there is a process. You present an application, we analyze the application, and we come up with a solution in this case, or with a suggestion. At that point, it's not that we receive people at the counter with the photographs and we say, okay, you can do this.
Mr. Sochi never came with a
There is a
proposal.
process for that. So he applied, then it came the time that we advertised it really quickly because we had other applications. So we made sure to put it quickly. Since the drawings never came, we had the courtesy of drawing what we think should be there. And that's it. There's no other way.
Through the chair.
Yes, sir.
I see these drawings here, there's some nice plans here for like.
Yes.
Is that your idea or?
That's theirs.
You don't mind if you show me, please,
The color ones.
on there? The color ones?
The color ones.
Deborah, one question before we proceed.
Espérate.
That one roof that's without a permit. We're suggesting that we can allow him to basically double
Yeah,
the,
but in the
in
space
the- right.
where it was permitted, yes. This
The-
one, and he has it, yes.
No, that's your proposal
Yeah, that's.
Yeah.
for the part where it's legal.
But this.
Does not have to do anything with the
You
part
don't,
where
you
I
don't,
want
you're
to
not
legalize.
interested in doing something like this right now?
No, right now, probably in the future. I need to open,
But-
start making money.
But she's recommending to tear down what you have right now.
Yes, and then.
The one that was, he
Oh,
has
one
a
of them.
little one of 260 square feet that
Correct.
he can keep. And then the other one, the one of 560 square feet, he has to remove. That's the recommendation.
That's the one I'm trying to legalize.
Okay, so obviously it's not gonna get legalized,
Okay.
so.
okay, so let me just, because I'm going back and forth here. He has 2 carports, one's legal, 260 feet, square feet.
Exactly,
That's legal, that can
Yeah.
stay.
yes,
One that is 500 and something, that's
illegal.
illegal. Recommendation is demolish that.
Yes.
Now, question, Hayden. And now you are suggesting that we're saying that we can allow him to rebuild or build up to 560, but does it have to be in the,
In the
in the-
location that was approved by the special use permit of 19.
See, if you would have told me that at the very beginning, I want to spend my money doing a brightest map,
The very
site plan,
beginning is.
I
this,
spent
the very
almost
beginning is the
$25,000 in
partnership
plans.
for meeting.
because she asked me to go ahead and do all those things in order to get a good recommendation.
okay, hold on a second. I still haven't gotten an answer to my question. Haven't got it question out yet. If I understand correctly, the illegal roof has to go,
Yes,
period. And that's 560 square feet roughly?
460 square. feet,
Okay. The legal is 260.
Exactly.
Okay,
And we are saying he needs a larger operation, he can increase that size to 500.
the legal carport, he can basically double it,
Exactly.
okay, legally with the
Yes.
permits.
Yes,
Now, here's the kicker. The illegal one that needs to be demolished,
yes,
can he build that 500 and something square foot carport with permit where the illegal one is?
no. No,
Okay. So bottom line is the illegal has to go, period, and then he can increase the legal one, basically double the size.
yes. And
Okay.
also a car wash, a manual car wash in a shopping center is an ancillary use. If you want to have a big operation, well, you rent a place like a car wash or other car washes that
Mhm.
have bigger spaces. This is like an ancillary use to give service to the patrons of the shopping center.
Okay, that answers my question. Does everybody else understand what my misunderstanding was?
Yes. Yes,
Okay,
I had the same misunderstanding.
yeah,
We're clear now.
the legal one can actually be doubled up,
Yes,
then grow to double the size. The illegal one has to go, period.
period.
That's where we
And
stand.
the trees have to be put back to.
Exactly, yes.
Trees has to be put back or,
Or mitigate, but
Or
he
mitigate,
says he
okay.
wants to plant them.
Okay,
so
fine,
he can
fine.
go ahead and pull a permit and plant.
okay,
With the microfilms plan, correct?
Well,
You need to pull a permit, and if you want to show that for your permit, you will show that.
Thank
So whatever you build at the site needs to reflect what is in the plan.
through the
Thank you.
chair,
yes, sir.
he doesn't have to plant the trees necessarily. He could like pay to.
It mitigate, yeah, he can mitigate,
You
yeah.
could have the trees planted somewhere, because you have palm trees there already, right?
Yes, sir.
So why tear down the palm trees if you can mitigate the trees and
If
just,
he wants to plant them, we need canopy trees in.
yeah,
there.
it's like donating trees to the city. Pretty much how you're gonna be doing.
All right.
I don't know, it's gonna be, I think it's gonna be less costly if
No.
you do that.
No,
Or
it's
it's-
It's like
expensive. To
a-
mitigate the trees,
yes,
it's
it's
expensive,
super
because you
expensive.
pay for the tree, for the installation, it's expensive.
Yeah, but then he would have to do, we would have to
Well,
remove the palm
Or
tree.
he will pay it, or he will pay to the city and the city will plant.
No,
it
no, I'm
somewhere
okay.
else.
I can put the trees back to the
Okay.
same way the microfilms
Okay.
are.
Okay,
So then you
Without
understand now,
removing the
right?
palms.
You're-
I
you're
can keep
okay
the
with
palms
this?
as well.
You're okay with this idea then, right?
On the
He's
future,
not
yeah.
okay. He's not okay with this because he wants to keep the roof that was.
It's,
built
that's not
with
gonna
that
happen.
no,
Okay.
So we're gonna go with her recommendation.
not through
which
us.
is- So if we recommend this, that means that you're gonna knock down that 500-foot roof. Understand that?
Yes.
Okay, so
Okay,
you want us to deny this or you
No.
want us to approve this?
I want you to guys approve it.
Okay, so you're gonna knock down.
I
that
spend
500
my money doing that. She asked me
Alright,
to
so
do
there
it,
you
so I
okay.
can have a good recommendation.
You're getting confused. He wants to go for what he said that you gotta go for the recommendations.
Yeah.
That's
He
what you gotta
wants
go
to
for.
Keep the essence of everything is that he wants to keep that roof and that we are saying, no, you cannot keep that roof. We allow you to enlarge the original roof, but you cannot keep that second roof that you built without permit.
So you're not in agreement with this?
On the future.
In the
Not right
future?
now.
No.
No.
In the future, okay. Does
What's the
he have
reason
a
not now?
time- Does he have a time frame to,
The field, what we're.
Well, it's
discussing
just a
here,
proposal though.
He wants to know if he can keep that roof or not, that you're voting on.
Yeah.
okay, no,
The
okay,
rest, if he doesn't want to enlarge it, that's he think he can do it now, he can do it later, but for now, he wants to keep the roof.
Okay.
You want to allow him to keep the roof, yes or no?
No, we don't want to
No.
allow to keep the
Okay.
roof.
I can
So,
understand.
Motion to approve this.
Wait,
No.
no, wait.
To deny, okay.
wait, wait, one second. I can understand his point of view. He wants to get some kind of resolution so he can open the business and start making money because he's been closed.
Demolish, I told him that from the first day, you demolish that roof and you can go ahead and open the business. The business could be operating now.
We can open the business and wait into the meeting of council meetings. We've been asking her to
You
let
can
us
work on
open.
the 250-foot.
Yeah, but he
Yes.
needs to remove the other roof.
You move the other one and you work on the smaller one and then grow it up.
Okay. So, any more comments or questions from the board?
I'm ready.
Anyone in the audience?
Motion to deny.
Okay. Let's be a little more clear about that. Her recommendation is approval with the conditions.
Yeah, if he doesn't accept the conditions, this means that he doesn't agree with that.
Okay. So you still saying motion to deny?
Yes, sir.
Do we have a second?
Wait a minute.
We have a motion and a second.
Well, I mean, this meeting is not for the one is legal. The meeting is for the one which is illegal. So if you guys gonna make a decision, it's for the one that is illegal.
Okay, see, this is what's confusing and
Yes.
we already
Well,
have a
she
motion.
confused because we never made, when at the very beginning at the meeting, we asked her to let us expand.
Okay,
And she never said Okay,
We have a motion on the floor already. Can we postpone the motion for just one conversation? Okay, okay, conversation, just one more conversation with the motion pending, okay? My concern is that I understand that you want to open the business to start generating revenue. I understand that. I also understand, and I need you to understand this, that you have an issue with that one roof.
to one of
Okay.
them, yes.
Now, does he have a time frame to demolish that?
If he doesn't demolish that, he won't get the license to operate the car wash.
Okay, there you go. So unless you demolish that one roof, you will not get the license. So,
Okay.
so that's the bottom line.
Through the chair?
Yes, sir.
Why wouldn't he get the license?
Because it's got
Because
non-conforming.
he has an illegal roof.
Now, is there a possibility to approve what he wants and then just have code compliance
Yeah,
do
well,
whatever they need to do?
what I was asking her.
This is already a court case, so he wants to open the car wash, he demolishes what is illegal, and he gets the license that same day.
I'm just concerned like regarding the condition to have them removed. Like, why not just leave that to code compliance to deal with that as opposed to us
No,
forcing?
because
him?
we are at the hearing making a decision. He's asking if he can leave that roof, and we're saying, no, you cannot leave that roof. This is white, black and or white.
No, I'm just saying, like, if that's an issue of code compliance, why not leave it to code
Well,
compliance?
because when the items come for a license to zoning there, we have a chance at look at everything. If the code has too many cases, so if it's brought to our attention, we need to enforce what is. I won't sign a license of someone that has something illegal occurring in the property. Like, for example, you
Sí, es lo que
come
hizo.
and you need
Pero
to
no
have
está
6
activo.
parking spaces.
No, que
You
no se
have
quiere
3.
firmar, sí,
Okay,
es
it's a
una
different
pregunta.
issue. Code enforcement can go, but right now you're applying for the license and you cannot comply. So you don't comply, zoning cannot approve the license.
Because that's basically what we're arguing about, that
Well,
one condition.
Okay. well,
It's because it goes to BTR after it gets approved or denied by zoning. So if it gets denied by zoning, it'll never get to BTR, or BTR will never approve it. So what she's saying is the license won't get approved because she's not going to approve it. So since she won't approve it, it can't go to BTR,
What's BTR?
business tax.
That's,
Oh, okay.
So,
So she's the gatekeeper, pretty zoning. It's, building zoning BTR.
So in other words, he needs to be nicer to her.
Well, no, he needs to comply.
He needs to comply with the code. It's not being.
It's
hacked.
just a
It's
joke.
not personal.
It's just a
Yeah,
joke.
This
It's
is
just a joke.
okay, we have a motion on the floor and a
You have a
second,
second too.
and a second. So call the roll.
Okay, so we had a motion by Mr. Ulloa, second by Mrs. Enriquez. Mr. Perez,
To deny, yes.
Mr. Mason,
Yes.
Mr. Iglesias,
Yes.
Mrs. Enriquez,
Yes.
Mr. Jimenez,
Yes.
Mr. Ulloa.
Yes.
Item has been denied.
Thank you.
Item number 6. Conditional use.
Okay, Mr. Gaitan, you do need to come back to the council
The
though.
city council.
City council.
It is, yes, it's April 22nd, 2025 at 5:30 PM.
And that's
Okay.
that's to determine if they uphold the denial or reverse the denial. 5:30.
5:30.
They can't override us.
Item number 6. Conditional use permit to allow the expansion of an existing K through 12th grade school allowed by ordinance 2015-60 that limited the number of students to 400. Proposing now the addition of a 3-story, 30,852 square feet building with new uses, including a 45 children daycare, fitness center, adult training, and behavioral therapy for adult families and or individuals with autism. Property is located at 3751 West 108th Street, Hialeah Zoned, BDH, Business Development District. Applicant Glenn Pierce on behalf of SFACS Real Estate LLC.
Thank you. Name and address, please.
Yes, thank you. Glenn Pierce, 2534 Royal Palm Way, Weston, Florida. I am a longtime parent of the school. My son aged out last year. And
Okay, give us a second to read it into the
Oh,
record,
sorry.
and then we
Yep.
can discuss it.
This property is located on the north side of West 108th Street between West 36th Avenue and West 38th Avenue within a 4.07 acre lot. The property is in Hialeah Heights and was approved for a charter school according to City of Hialeah, Florida Ordinance 2015-60 in October 2015. The approval was obtained through a conditional use permit that included the following conditions: limiting the maximum student population to 400 students and prohibiting any students from driving to school or parking his or her vehicle, which the city accepted. Therefore, the property was improved with a two-story, 62,000 square feet building with 201 parking spaces and several amenities, creating an educational campus. This application is to expand the CUP to integrate the following uses into the school operation: a 45 children daycare, fitness center, adult training, and behavioral therapy for adults, families, and individuals with autism. The proposed uses are to be housed in a proposed three-story, 30,582 square feet building on the eastern side of the property next to the existing two-story building. The parking and the internal vehicular circulation do not include any modifications from the existing configuration. The new uses are to be housed within the new building, and the parking spaces provided support the addition and the proposed uses. The proposed site plan exceeds the amount of trees and green area required. Since traffic has been an issue at peak times, the city required a traffic analysis that was peer-reviewed by a city consultant. Field observations by the city's traffic engineer consultant performed on August 7, 2024, indicated that vehicle queues extended outside the school on West 180th Street, with spillback onto Northwest 97th Avenue. His recommendation to the school was to implement double stacking within the school site and stagger shift to eliminate the vehicle queuing extending outside the school property. The installation of marked crosswalks and school crossing signs was also recommended at West 108th Street and Northwest 97th Avenue at all approaches, and at West 108th Street and West 38th Avenue on the southbound approach. With these traffic impacts affecting neighboring properties and city right-of-ways, it is imperative that the school manages the traffic circulation and on-site parking not only at peak times, but also throughout the day, given that the incorporation of new uses will activate traffic circulation at all times. A side note is that the previous declaration of restriction was not recorded. Therefore, a new declaration stipulating the previous accepted comments and the new ones is required. Staff recommends approval of the CUP with the following conditions. Personnel shall be stationed at the entrance gate at all operating times to open and close gates for entering traffic and also for making sure that gates remain open 30 minutes prior to drop-off and pick-up times to avoid any queuing outside of the property. Personnel should be available at drop-off and pick-up times to implement double stacking when required, or alternatively organize stagger shift. Daycare children shall be limited to a maximum of 45 children. Install marked crosswalks and crossing signs at West 108th Street and Northwest 97th Avenue in all approaches, and at West 108th Street and West 38th Avenue in the southbound approach. 6 months after obtaining CO and when school and community center are in operation, the applicant shall provide a traffic field observation report, including an entire school community center weekday to verify that queues do not extend outside the school limits. Recommendation is approval with the conditions stipulated above.
Thank you.
Thank you, Director. Appreciate that. And we have actually already accepted many of the recommendations and implemented that. And I would, my colleague will talk about recent traffic studies. And I imagine that we have less traffic impact than any school in the rest of the city. At this point, we have a staggered approach with different grade configurations being picked up and dropped off at different times along with the double stacking. So we are here, we're a proud partner with the city of Hialeah for the last 16 years. We're in the 16th year of operations. As many of you know, we started at Slade Park with a lease by and between the city and the school. Our natural number of kids is between 288 and 300, and we've not exceeded 300 during our existence. The way you get there is that we have a very innovative school, and we have 9 kids per classroom, per homeroom, with 1 teacher and 2 certified assistants in each classroom. So it's a 3-to-1 ratio. When you add our specialty teachers, it's closer to 2-to-1. It's the preeminent school in the United States for the teaching of kids on the more impacted end of the spectrum. And we are training other groups around the country to create schools like this, including a couple of groups that are in today training with us. Our natural number, as I said, is 288 to 300 because we can keep our kids like every public school through age 22. K through 22 is equivalent to 16 grades. We have 2 homerooms of 9 each. 18 times 16 is 288. That's our natural number. This addition allows us to have better facilities for our existing team. The people that will occupy this new building are largely folks that are on our team today. Our principal, Dr. Tamara Moody, will move over to this site, as will all of our OT, PT, and speech folks, and we'll be better able to serve our growing adult population that ages out. A little bit more about the site. This was a plan that we knew a decade ago, and it was reflected in the approval in 2015. And the site was identified that we would actually build that at this time. We didn't think it was going to take this long, but it has, and we're happy to say that all of mitigation, everything we needed to do on the site has now been successful. And we are ready to start construction as soon as we're giving permission to do so, to create, again, what we believe will be the best of its kind, serving young adults on the spectrum, as well as expand the services afforded to our K-22 population. Hold it, that actually, we can have that. Go ahead.
Greetings. Good afternoon. My name is Ivan Fajardo, Civic LLC, 8323 Northwest 12th Street. We're very honored to be here once again in front of you for the presentation of this project. I don't know how we can control the presentation. You can do it. Okay, thank you very much. So really quick, we want to thank the staff for planning and zoning, for all the guidance and the support, everybody at the city, always being available to help the public. I'll breeze through this really quick because the director, she pretty much summarized the project for us. So we're here for the South Florida Autism Center. This is going to be a 3-story building addition. The slide that you see in there on your monitor, basically it shows the current site information. You can see the location in context as to where it is. It's 4 acres. It used to be 5 acres. However, this applicant was the one that donated the land for the pump station that serves the entire area. So all those, most of those warehouses around there are happening because, the autism team, they took that piece of land, donated that to the city, and that's where the pump station is, along with the right-of-way. The existing use is a school which was approved for 400 students. And of course, we're here for the addition of the Autism Center, which the director already enumerated the various uses that are proposed. Next slide, please. Next slide. Just really quick, this is just a refresher. This is back from 2015. The image on your left, that's from the CUP second reading when we were presenting the school. You can see that the Autism Center is highlighted in yellow and the school building is highlighted in reddish. So basically the school was always the phase 1 and the Autism Center is the phase 2. The graphic on the right is from the site plan approval process, which is a separate process that the city requires to pull the permit. And again, the idea for the site plan approval was for the school, but we were showing the center as a concept, as a future. And that's why we're here today, to formalize that. Next slide, please. This is what the site looks like today. 201 parking spaces, a 2-story building for the autism school. And also we have a perimeter fence for the similar land uses. All the landscaping buffers are in place. If you notice, we have 2 rectangles marked in blue. those are the two separate dumpster enclosures. Even though we were doing the phase one of the development, we were expecting for the autism center to be constructed, and we have hence two dumpster enclosures that are ready to receive this new building. The yellow area shows where the center is going to be located. Next slide, please. These are some of the pictures from the South Florida Autism School, award-winning building, and obviously what goes on inside of it is even more and more important. Next. And that's just a summary of the proposed development. We do have a question later on at the end as we exchange comments in regards to a pool that we want to introduce. It's another therapeutic use that is going to be used for educational purposes for children with autism. And Glenn can get into that in a second. Next slide. And then that's the breakdown for the parking calculations in compliance with the zoning requirements. The one on the right is, I'm sorry, on the left, it shows the requirements for the school. It's around 60 parking spaces. We are assigning 100 to the school. Let me make sure I look at the numbers correctly. But when they're both combined, the center requires 91 spaces, and that brings a total of 159 spaces that are required for both uses, and we'll have 42 of surplus, which is a very healthy amount. Next slide, please. That is what the site is going to look like when the project is proposed. And again, you will see that the way that the site is now, it has an open-ended green area, but with the inclusion of this autism center, basically a courtyard is formed that is going to, further enhance the experience and protect the students inside the play area. Next slide. These are the three levels. Again, very similar to what was proposed back in 2015 under the site plan approval. Next. Some renditions of the center. You can see how it engages the street. Nothing is better to advertise the building than good architecture. We want to welcome all those great comments that the city has given us throughout the years and, help us make better architecture. So there you see a building that is quote unquote private, but it engages the road and it opens up more towards the interior. Next slide. These are some of the just basic requirements of the zoning. This was part of our package submittal to the city. To the left, you see how we comply with the first responders access to the site. To the right, that's a photometric study. It's kind of boring, but it's required by the code. So we're showing that we comply with that. Next slide. This is a landscaping plan. And there you can see the inclusion of the future pool that we will be constructing soon as also. Next slide. And then just to end in the subject of traffic, this site went through a few processes for traffic. On the farther left, that the first traffic study was conducted by the engineering firm Kimley Horn. That was conducted for the CUP. We interacted with staff and the city and whatnot to provide a traffic study, and it was approved under that CUP. The next graphic that you see in the middle, that is a traffic report produced by Caltran Engineering. And the reason why that report exists is because we had to plat the land. And Miami-Dade County Public Works Department Traffic Engineering, they do require that traffic studies is put through their system. So that traffic study was fully approved by Miami-Dade County Traffic Engineering. Not an easy feat to do. The reason why it took a little longer, you see the dates, is because the mega mall was taking place back then, and they halted all traffic studies because they know what the mega mall was going to cost, and I don't even know if the mega mall was built or not. But and then the last graphic that you see on your right, that is a Langan Engineering traffic study. That is the last traffic study, conducted in 2023, 2024. Obviously, at the request of the city, they did voice some of those traffic concerns. So a traffic study was done. There was interaction with Bowman, and yes, we discovered that there were some site conditions that were affecting the traffic. One of them was that the intersection light wasn't in place. So because there was a stop sign and not a light, traffic was just flooding through their arteries everywhere. The other thing that happened was what the director pointed out is that, the school sometimes was failing to open up those gates, and they were single loading. So the traffic study was conducted. We conducted drone footage as well to conduct the counts. Bowman looked at it. They inspected the site. We did the tweak, and in fact, we took a video after those conditions were in place to ameliorate the traffic, and we didn't have any substantial issues at all. And yes, we agree and we accept the conditions to have this analyzed. And staff, it's already taking place, but we'll be happy to. It's working, so we will be happy to document it formally. And with that concludes our presentation. Again, we're very happy to be here. This is something that is going to serve the community. Families with children with autism, they need training. Sometimes they need support. This building may have students from FIU, from Atlantic, special education, things like that. So that is the goal of the facility, we have the school, but now we need to extend that help to everybody else that is part of this village that can help the community, okay? And we'll be here to answer any questions. Thank you.
Thank you. I do have a couple of questions. This is an existing building, correct?
Yes, sir. The school is an existing building. You can see one of the aerials there. Yes, sir. 2-story school building. And we're going to add this proposal is for a new 3-story
Expansion.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Deborah, is this not the same parcel that came before us last year sometime? I don't want to say names,
No.
but it was a monstrosity of
Yeah,
a
yeah.
building.
No, it's
I'm sure you remember.
It was originally owned by the same person, but has nothing to do.
Okay,
This is here since he said 2005, no? 2015.
Yes, 2015 is the first time.
yes, okay.
Yeah.
Because I was going to say, look at the alternative
Yeah.
usage of that.
Would be
Yeah, yeah.
great. Yeah,
Okay,
maybe they should look into taking over that.
there you go. Okay,
I'll answer that. It's already under construction, it's got public storage, I think, is the use that.
can you speak into the microphone, please?
Sorry, it's already under construction next door and, it's blocks our view a little bit, but, it'll be acceptable neighbor and we always need storage, so we'll probably be putting some of our stuff in there, so.
Okay. Thank you. Any comments or questions from the board? I'm sure you remember very well. Very well. Okay. Now comments from the board? Anyone in the audience who have a comment or question on this item? Okay, closes the public hearing. What's the pleasure of the board?
Second.
So we have a motion by Mr. Iglesias, second by Mrs. Enriquez. Mr. Perez?
Yes.
Mr. Ulloa?
Yes.
Mr. Jimenez?
Yes.
Mrs. Enriquez?
Yes.
Mr. Iglesias?
Yes.
Mr. Mason?
Yes.
Item has been approved with conditions.
Thank you so much for your.
Thank you.
For the last 16 years, really appreciate it.
Okay, so the next item is,
Hard project to say no to.
so the next item is actually a tabled item from March 12, 2025. We will need to remove from table.
Motion to remove from table.
We had a motion by Mrs. Enriquez, second by Mr. Iglesias. Mr. Ulloa?
Yes.
Mr. Iglesias?
Yes.
Mr. Jimenez?
Yes.
Mrs. Enriquez?
Yes.
Mr. Perez?
Yes.
Mr. Mason?
Yes.
Item has been removed from table. Item number 7, special use permit to allow the expansion of the neighborhood business district overlay in relation to a proposed development including 7 residential units. Variance to allow 7 units with a total area of less than 700 square feet, where 700 square feet is the minimum required and only 25% of the residential units may have a minimum area of 500 square feet. Allow residential use only where mixed use is required. Allow residential use on the ground floor where residential units are allowed above ground floor level. Allow east side setback of 5 feet where 15 feet are required. Allow 12.87% pervious area where 30% is the minimum required. And variance to allow partial waiver of the minimum landscape requirements through landscape mitigation as per section 98-2235. Applicant Cesar Mestre, Esquire, on behalf of RHM Development LLC.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Cesar Mestre with offices at 8105 Northwest 155th Street, Miami Lakes, Florida.
Good evening.
The property in this application is located on the north side of West 7th Street, east of West First Avenue, within the Hialeah Downtown Urban Center. The property has R3D zoning and CBD land use. The 6,750 square feet site is currently a vacant lot. The rest of the properties on both sides of East 7th Street are developed with multifamily building, most of them having 2 stories and developed in the 1960s with its parking backing out into the street that at night serves as tandem parking, encroaching into the sidewalk and city's right-of-way. One of those multifamily buildings is now an assisted living facility. The east end of the block facing Palm Avenue is developed with a commercial building built in the 1950s and a mixed-use development built in the early 2000s. Current density regulations would allow a maximum of 4 units on lots of identical sizes. That limitation is reflected in 2 properties developed in the 80s, which include 4 units with a parking lot located at the front of the building. The properties developed in the 1960s were built at a density of 55 units per acre, having 8 units. The applicant obtained approval to redevelop the property according to City Ordinance 2023-007, adopted on January 10, 2023. This approval entailed a special use permit to expand the neighborhood business district for 7 dwelling units multifamily building with variances to allow only residential where mixed use is required, a reduction of the size of the unit, an east side setback reduction, and parking reduction. The applicant entered into a declaration of restrictions to establish certain parameters, such as the expiration of approvals. The applicant proffered to submit a site plan within 12 months from the ordinance approval. However, as of October 2024, no site plan had been submitted to the city. Consequently, the city revoked such approval according to Ordinance 2024-105. The applicant is now before the city with the same 2023 redevelopment proposal for the site, including a 3-story building with 7 one-bedroom apartments and 8 parking spaces. The development proposes 50% frontage along the street with a 10-foot wide landscape area fronting the proposed building and a 2-way driveway to access the parking area located in part below the building and at the rear of the lot, where also the dumpster enclosure is proposed. All the parking area is proposed to be improved with pavers or stamped concrete. The ground floor will have a single 1-bedroom unit and 2 staircases to access the upper floors, where 3 one-bedroom apartments are proposed on each floor. A contemporary facade is proposed, including a decorative metal wood vertical band consolidating the small bathroom windows beside the perimeter encasement fusing the bedroom windows. To be able to develop the property as proposed, the applicant is requesting a special use permit to allow the expansion of the NBD regulations, allow single residential use where mixed use is required, allow residential units on the ground floor, allow all residential units with area of 550 square feet, where a minimum of 700 square feet is required on 6 units and 600 square feet is allowed on 1 unit. Allow 5 feet side setback where 15 are required when abutting residential property, and allow a reduction of the minimum pervious areas and a partial waiver of the minimum landscaping requirements. Comparing the existing multifamily developments on similar size lots in the immediate area with the proposed development, the proposed contemporary building is more attractive than the 1960 models with backout parking and the 1980s model with a parking lot at the front and the building at the deep end of the lot. Although the proposed development is extremely compact and with reduced green area, should not be discarded since it presents an alternative for the replacement of older properties at a density similar to the one approved in the 1960s, and that could serve to motivate property owners to replace older buildings without losing density. As mentioned above, the applicant is requesting to expand the NBD regulations and is providing the following increase in height and density incentive points to comply with the regulations. Parking located at the rear and blocked from the street view, and 1 extra point that they are not providing. The total amount of points is not sufficient to comply with the requested height and density increase. Therefore, staff recommends that the applicant provide a one-time monetary contribution to the Friends of the High Line of $20,000 to comply with the additional required point. The contribution shall be provided at the time of site plan and concurrency according to the declaration of restriction proffered by the applicant prior to a second reading at the City Council. Therefore, staff provides the following conditions. provided the creation of restrictions, stipulating restrictions about parking, short-term rental, condominium conversion, and stating timelines for expiration of approvals. Proffer the Friends of the Higher Line contribution to obtain the extra point needed as incentive, provide a tree mitigation payment if the minimum tree requirement is not met, and the project shall be developed according to the MBD design guidelines. Revised plans shall be presented prior to the second reading to the City Council. Staff recommends approval with condition.
Thank you, Ms. George. Mr. Mitchell.
Thank you. This is a first for me. As the director said, this exact project was already approved in 2023. Went through P and Z, went through council, was approved. As part of those approvals, the city makes us say that certain things will happen by certain times. They had a requirement to submit a site plan within 12 months. They didn't submit it, so it came before the council and they took away that approval. So they're here asking for reapproval of exactly the same project. I'll show you a slide presentation. It's a vacant lot right now. Next slide.
One comment. Can I make one comment?
Sure.
Since that first approval and this submittal, the MBD regulations changed.
Yes.
Which in part favor them because it requires less parking, but now the points are streamlined because there were some developers taking advantage of certain points and proffering things that they never complied with. So we made it simple, or you comply, or if you cannot comply, you pay into the Higher Line fund.
And before I continue, that's correct. This is under the new MBD and the new point system, and we're short 1 point. And they agree to make the $20,000 payment to the Higher Line. So that's not an issue. So I'd like to show you the slide. The picture on the left is a vacant lot. That's the lot that we're talking about. As you can see, there's a multifamily apartment building to the left, and there's a 2-story multifamily apartment building to the right. The one on the right just shows you where it's located. It's the second lot in from First Avenue. This is like a block and a half away from here. Next slide. Just showing you the land use for the area. It's the downtown business district and the zoning of the area. Next slide. These are the buildings that are located directly on the same side of the street, next to where this building is. As you can see, they're 2-story buildings. These lots are about the same size. One of them has a double lot, but on the lots that are the same size, there's 8 units, 8 units, 8 units. The one right next door to us is a double, so it has 16 units. And what we're asking for is 7. On the corner is the commercial building, which I'll show you next. These are some of the same buildings that are on the same side of the street as we are on the same street. Next slide. Same. You can see, as Deborah said, the parking is located in front of the building. It kind of serves, or it's easy to do the tandem parking, which we know that the city doesn't allow and doesn't want, but since the space is there, as you can see in the picture, and that wasn't planned, that's just the way people are parking. So the way that our parking is situated, you'll see in the next couple of slides, it's in the back, and it's impossible to do the tandem parking. This is a little further down the street. There's a parking lot, which is the back of the bakery and the commercial center that's right on the corner. Next slide. On the south side of the street, you have the big 4-story apartment building that's there. That's mixed use, which is right 1 block directly across the street from the courthouse. Next one. This is across the street directly to the south of where we're located. There's an ALF, which is the one that you see there. It's a double building as well. That one has 36 units. So I just showed you this to show you that this is comparable with what's in the area. It's going to be an improvement with regards to the parking, to the design, the architecture. Next slide. This is what we're proposing. As you can see, modern, a drive on the left side, which would be the west side of the building. You drive to the back and you have parking spaces back there. Next one. It's a total of 7 units. 2 are 550 square feet. The other 5 are 600 square feet. And they're all 1-bedroom, 1-bath units. You see the floor plans there. Next one. As you can see on the, go back to the next one, the one before that. On the extreme left, you'll see that the drive is on the left side of the building. There's some parking spaces right in the middle, right next to the one apartment that's down there. And then in the back, which would be the north side of the building, by the dumpster enclosure are the other parking spaces. So hidden, which is what the city prefers and the code encourages. And there's no possibility of tandem parking. As far as the conditions, as I said before, we agree to the $20,000 Highline payment for the extra point that we need. The declaration of restrictions with the stipulations about parking, short-term rental, condo conversions, and timeliness for expirations, that's not a problem. The tree mitigation payment, if the tree is not required. And also, we do have a change, or as I said before, we'd like to get back to where we were with the original approval. There's one little change that the original recommendation for today, when this was scheduled back in March, said project shall be developed according to plans prepared by Vagabond Architect, signed and sealed by Amanda Bonvicchio, dated January 2025. Those are the plans that we've submitted or that were submitted with the application. The recommendation today and what the director read says, the project shall be developed according to the NBD design guidelines. Revised plans shall be presented prior to the second reading of the city council. As far as I know, and I really haven't talked to my client too much about this, they're not thinking of revising the plans at this time. That's something that can happen if there's any issues when the site plan review and the concurrency is taking place, just like it did before. So I would just ask that we go back to doing it with the way the plans were submitted and in compliance with the architect have proposed. Other than that, we do agree with the conditions, except for that one little difference. And we'd be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you, Mr. Mystery.
Was it IKEA inspired, the building?
I'm sorry?
Was it IKEA inspired?
I think so. It's a very modern architectural firm that did that.
Yeah. Very cool.
Very young architects that want to do more modern stuff, which I think the city likes. So.
Okay, while Deborah's reviewing the last minute plans here, is there?
The plans do not include the points and don't make reference to that. That's why it's a simple change that.
Oh, okay, that's it.
It's a simple revision. It's
Okay.
not on the design, it's to put there that which are the points that.
Yeah,
you're
I
doing. So
understand.
it's
Change
very
the
simple.
legend
Yeah,
to make sure it goes
exactly.
positive. That's
Yeah.
not a problem.
Okay.
I just didn't understand. And I would have called you earlier, but I just got that this afternoon, so.
Okay.
Any comments or questions? Anyone in the audience? All right, what's the pleasure of the board?
Motion to approve with conditions, the IKEA design.
We had a motion by Mr. Jimenez, second by Mr. Iglesias. Mr. Perez?
Yes.
Mr. Ulloa?
Yes.
Mr. Jimenez?
Yes.
Mrs. Enriquez?
Yes.
Mr. Mason?
Yes.
Mr. Iglesias?
Yes.
Item has been approved with conditions.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, you brought back some bad memories talking about that lot out there.
I didn't want to say names because I know there's, remain anonymous.
Item number 8, special use permit to allow a pharmaceutical research center conducting clinical trials to test new drugs, devices, and other forms of treatments to operate in conjunction with an existing medical office. Property is located at 3412 West 84th Street, Suite 102. Hialeah Zone, Liberal Retail Commercial District. Applicant Aurelio Torres Consuegra on behalf of Kathy Investments LLC.
Name and address, please.
Hi, my name is Aurelio Torres Consuera and the address is 3412 West 84th Street, Suite 102.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome.
This property is located south facing Northwest 138th Street between Hialeah Gardens Boulevard and Northwest 97th Avenue. The property is approximately 3.18 acres and has been developed as an office park condominium since 2004, according to city records. The current use for Unit 102 in conjunction with Unit 103 and 104 is for medical offices for South Florida Doctors Group, PLLC, and Aurelio Torres as a business owner. The current parking count of the office park is 210 parking spaces, including handicap spaces. This application is to permit the use of clinical trials in Unit 102 only. The other units operated by the same company are to remain as medical office. The hours of operation of the clinical trial office are to be from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., operating with qualified professionals listed on the letter of intent as one manager, one principal investigator, a site coordinator, a nurse, and a lab assistant. The clinical trial office is a walk-in facility with no overnight stays permitted. Since the use of a clinical trial requires the same parking requirements as a medical office, no parking impacts are being considered as part of the special use permit. Staff recommends approval with the following restrictions. Proffer declaration of restrictions prior to second reading of the ordinance, restricting that no clinical trial patients are to stay overnight on the premises, and limit the number of patients coming to the clinic and have them come with appointments. And the clinical trials are to be performed on Unit 102 only, and any modification or expansion requires a new special use permit. Staff recommends approval of the SUP with condition. The condition of having appointments is because many times the research companies, they put advertisements on the newspaper, on the radio, so they convocate a large amount of people, and these will impact the operation of the shopping center. So we would like to have a maximum set number of patients being there at the same time, and have them come with appointments, so we don't have long lines of people waiting to be allowed into the facility.
Okay. Yes, there's no problem with it.
No comments, no questions?
No comment.
Everything is good?
Everything is
Good
good.
deal. Comments or questions from the board? Anyone in the audience?
I have a quick comment.
Go ahead.
They're not seeking a variance? What are they seeking? Why are they
A
here?
special use permit, because as I explained before, in these kind of businesses, you need to know a little bit more about the businesses. If not, sometimes they pay the patients to come for the trial. So suddenly you can have 200 people waiting there to get the payment and to get into the trial. So that's why they need to come to a special use permit to make sure that we understand how the operation will operate and put these limitations so you don't impact the other businesses.
So it's just because of the SUP?
Just because it's a research facility that receives patients for a trial.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Any more comments or questions? All right, what's the pleasure of the board?
To approve the conditions.
Second. Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Iglesias, second by Mr. Ulloa and Mrs. Enriquez. Mr. Jimenez,
Yes.
Mr. Iglesias,
Yes.
Mr. Mason,
Yes.
Mr. Perez,
Yes.
Mrs. Enriquez.
Yes.
Mr. Ulloa,
Yes.
item has been approved with conditions.
Thank you. Good afternoon.
Item number 9, special use permit to allow the partial retrofit of the second floor of an existing shopping center into a mixed-use development project with a maximum of 33 live-work lofts units in conjunction with the existing shopping center. Variance permit to allow residential use within the C2 Liberal Retail Commercial District zoning district and allow 445 parking spaces where 599 parking spaces are required. Property is located at 2750 West 68th Street, Hialeah Zone C2, Liberal Retail Commercial District. Applicant, Felix M. Lasarte, Esquire, on behalf of Sadia Holdings, Inc. He's not here.
Well,
Good.
you're not Felix.
I am not. I'm not, Mr. Chairman. For the record, my name is Bill Riley Jr. With offices located at 16343 Southwest 256th Street, in Miami-Dade County, Florida. I'm here as a backup quarterback today in lieu of Felix's attendance.
Thank you. Let her read it into the record here.
This property is located at the southeast intersection of West 16th Street and West 28th Avenue and is developed as a two-story shopping center within an 8.02 acre site known as Lago Plaza. The property is oddly shaped following Lago Grande residential development lines and has two parcels at the corner. The building's first floor area has 106,640 square feet, and the second floor area has 50,400 square feet. City records indicate that the parcel has been developed and operates as a shopping center since 1988. Over the years, several commercial businesses have operated from this shopping center, including anchor stores such as Fresco y Más. The applicant has stated that the first floor retail is fully rented. However, the second floor retail has struggled to attract and maintain tenants. The two-story building has been maintained in fair condition over the years, and as stated on the submitted site plan, the current parking count is 445 parking spaces, serving all the businesses, including a permitted manual car wash located on the west side of the parking lot. This application is for a special use permit to retrofit the second floor of the shopping center into a mixed-use development project with 33 live-work loft units. The proposed live-work units area will range between 1,000 and 2,962 square feet. This request requires a use variance as the property is located in a C2 zoning district where residential use is not permitted. In addition, the existing parking count of 445 parking spaces is non-conforming since the first floor would require 533 parking spaces under current regulations, and the second floor would require 100 parking spaces for commercial use or 66 parking spaces for the live-work units. Accordingly, a parking variance is requested to allow 445 parking spaces where 599 are required. The site is currently occupying only 106,640 square feet on its first floor, yielding 533 required parking spaces, in addition to car wash operations. Site inspections reveal that the car wash is occupying more parking spaces than what is reflected in the plans and has several canopies. Therefore, the available parking is likely less than what is shown in the plans. Accordingly, the site is currently at a parking deficit, but it seems to operate properly, satisfying the shopping users since no overflow parking has been observed in adjacent swales and other areas, as in other examples around the city. Even though the introduction of the residential component seems to impose a negative parking impact, residential uses typically increase the parking demand when commercial activities come to an end after 6 p.m. This correlation is typically used in mixed-use projects. Therefore, the same analysis can apply to this proposal. Consequently, the parking usage would likely be spread throughout the 24-hour daily cycle, allowing for all uses to share the existing parking spaces. Back in 1988, when the property was permitted, the landscaping plans included several canopy trees. To be exact, microfilms indicated that 100 canopy trees were provided. At this time, most of those canopy trees are gone and the parking lot islands only include grass and palm trees. Since the project is now incorporating residential use, an increase in tree canopy is required, not only to improve the quality of life of future residents, but also to make the site consistent with the original approval. Therefore, considering contemporary alternatives that maintain the intended character while offering improved green areas, other specimens are suggested, such as live oaks, Campo Limbo, or Brazilian beauty leaf. In addition, shrubs are also required and none exist currently at the property. In summary, there are several factors that the site would need to improve to properly accommodate the proposed residential use and are listed as conditions for approval below. Conditions: proper declaration of restricted covenants limiting the residential units to 33 live-work residential lofts. All required building permits and change of use are to be obtained within 2 years from the date of the council approval. If building permits are not obtained within the time frame, this approval shall be null and void. Landscaping on site shall meet the 1988 landscaping approvals that includes a minimum of 100 canopy trees and corresponding shrubs. The manual car wash needs to clear any areas blocking additional parking spaces beyond those permitted according to the approved building permits. All car wash operations and canopies shall reflect the approved building permit plans. If any existing structure and/or parking area has been occupied by the car wash without the benefit of a building permit, it shall be removed. All residential areas shall have access through secured and locked entrances from the common commercial areas. The retrofit of the second floor shall be consistent with the conceptual plans and renderings submitted to the Planning and Zoning Department for this application. Staff recommends approval with conditions for the SUP and variances.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I gotta say, that was very comprehensive. Director Storch did a great job in preparation for today's presentation. I was gonna mention a lot of the history that she's already gone through. So I'll truncate my presentation, not to be repetitive. But as she mentioned, the property is located at the southeast intersection of West 28th Avenue and West 68th Street. It comprises about 8 acres in size, and it was originally built in 1988, as she mentioned. It comprises 2 floors, retail shopping center, but the online retail era that we found ourselves in recently has really decimated local boutique businesses. It's hard for them to compete, especially when there is an additional hurdle for customers to access them when they're located on a second floor of a strip shopping center. Unfortunately, as we stand here today, the entire second floor of the shopping center is now vacant. Those boutique retail stores have gone out of business. The first floor is doing okay. And the reason it's doing okay is because it has an anchor. As Director Storch mentioned, it has Fresco y Mas as one of its anchors, and it drives the traffic to the site that needs to sustain the other retail facilities. So when thinking about what to do with the property, because we've had some issues with the second floor being vacated, vandals, squatters, a lot of different type of nefarious activity. In order to come up with something that would be beneficial to the property, but also to the city and the community as a whole, we came up with a repurpose idea. And again, Director Storch already went through this, but it's a mixed use proposal. So the mixed use has residential on the second floor, which the city does need, and the community does need a more affordable, more opportunity for housing products. These are substantially large lofts that could accommodate a family. They could shop on site, do their groceries on site. That would alleviate some traffic. There's a lot of benefits that I will not go into, but I think we can all imagine what those benefits are by having the second floor repurposed for residential living in this area. We have read through the conditions. We don't have any objections to the conditions. We appreciate the staff's working with us on this project. We appreciate their diligence in reviewing it, and with that, we're willing to accept those conditions. And unless there's other questions that the board has, that will conclude my presentation.
Thank you, sir. Any comments or questions?
You have the pictures in your documents?
Oh, yes. And
renderings.
we have renderings. I'm sorry. After I heard Ms. Storch going through it all, she covered it so well. These are the most updated renderings of the exterior of the building. So it would be what the pedestrians would see. And it really would, we think, not only reactivate the site, but also enhance the aesthetic qualities of the site. So apart from the package of materials that you have with regard to the typical floor plans and so forth, the new renderings are part of the presentation.
It's a nice big building.
Yes, sir. It's about 178,000 square feet of floor area. So it's a large building. And again, it was something that we need to really put thought into about how we repurpose it. You know, whether we do part office, part, but after feasibility studies, it really came out as, you know, residential would be the most beneficial use of that second floor. So.
Okay.
Through the chair.
Yes.
I'm glad somebody's doing something about this building. I grew up going to the Blockbuster there.
Oh,
It's, like,
yes.
closed.
Yeah, me too.
Blockbuster.
Yeah. So how does the live work space, how does that work? Whoever lives there can have like a nail business, for example?
Oh, they certainly could. But you hear a lot of like live, work, play type of analysis when people talk about mixed use buildings. This doesn't have all those components. It's really not an employment center, I would say, but it provides benefits by getting some of the traffic off the road when you can do some of your shopping on site. So you could have employment, but employment is usually when you talk about live work, it's more of an office residential component. We don't really have offices, but we have the retail component. So you can shop, you can potentially work on site, and you can certainly live there. So that's our mixed use proposal for this project.
So
So
it
for
wouldn't be
example,
like-
you're a photographer that
Okay,
you,
okay.
you work outside, but you have lots of equipment and you process
Right.
videos or whatever, you can have a live work situation there.
Okay, I just wanted to see if it was gonna cause
Yeah.
like even more clientele going to these lofts. But now I understand what you're saying.
Yeah,
Okay.
or like a photographer that has also like a studio there, so you
Right.
can make an appointment, go take some pictures, those kinds of professionals.
Got it.
That also for the photographer is hard to rent a place to live and another rent to work, so here they can put everything together.
That's great. Thank you.
Good. Any more comments or
Through the
questions?
chair.
Yes, sir.
How big are these units gonna be?
So they range, as Storage mentioned, they range anywhere from 1,000 square feet to a little bit under 2,900 square feet.
Wow.
They gotta be good size.
So they
Some are
could be
really
family.
big,
They could accommodate families.
Well, they gotta be a loft, so how would
Yeah,
they,
yeah.
would they have rooms, like separate rooms, or would you have to parcel that out yourself, or how would that work?
No, they're going to be built out
Yeah,
into
built out.
bedrooms. I mean, some of them are going to be open floor plan lofts, so it'd be more of a modern atmosphere where you have, you know, your kitchen that flows into your open living space and stuff like that. But they'll have separate bathrooms and separate bedrooms.
Yeah, what they do, because the limitation here is that they only have the storefront, they don't have many windows. So what they do, they build the kitchen, they build the
Right.
bathroom, and then they do some separations that don't reach up to the ceiling. So sunlight and ventilation can still come in.
Now, would the people that live there still be able to use it as retail space too, or?
No, it would be residential. So it would help that component with regard to the tax base as well, because right now it's empty. But they wouldn't be able to have a retail store within their living unit. It would be residential.
Unless they rent something downstairs.
Unless they rent something downstairs, yes, sir.
But you're saying that you could have a photographer doing business there?
Yeah, you can, in a
That would-
live work unit, typically you can have.
That would be like a home office,
Like a home office.
like a home
exactly,
office,
yes.
not really a retail store, but a home office. So let's say like an attorney, maybe he has a small home office and you have regulations on the size of your home offices you can have. But yeah, they could have certainly, especially since after the COVID era, some people do want to work from home, so they could have that home office component, but it's not really it's not typical office space, if that makes
Okay.
sense.
And wasn't there a school on the second floor, if I remember well?
It was like a medical center at some point.
Yeah, I don't remember a school, to be honest with you. I'm not familiar with the
Like a technical
school.
college or something, all right.
A technical college,
Yeah, yeah,
maybe,
that's what I meant.
yeah.
Okay. So in essence, your vision would be to, in a way, gut the entire second floor and then repartition for
Residential.
said, apartment,
Yes, sir.
spaces and stuff.
Yes, sir. That's exactly right.
Okay. Anyone else?
Through the chair,
Yes.
in a project like this, how does a recreational area work? Like in the house, you have a backyard, in the condo, you have maybe like a playground area or a pool. Is that something something to be considered here? Or?
I think it would be considered. I don't know that's been fleshed out yet, and maybe Miss Storage could mention any of that. I'm not familiar with a specific on-site amenity that would be outdoor space. They would have indoor amenities. So probably like, you know, sort of like an apartment building has indoor gymnasiums and stuff like that, or workout rooms and things like that. But I'm not familiar
in
with.
general, for what I spoke with the owner, because he has other developments and he came before us.
Right.
He doesn't like to do amenities because he wants to keep the costs low so he can rent at an affordable price. So I don't think these will have amenities.
And then with the parking and everything, that's sort of a grandfathered use. It's just hard in this situation.
Well, if you have a 3,000 square feet loft, you can have a soccer court inside your home.
That's
Or
true.
you could have like 20 people living in that apartment too. That's another problem that I might, we should maybe think about too, because a large loft like that might bring in some kind of strange amount of people.
I can just see the parties at night.
Yeah, it's gonna be a little crazy.
No,
Is there gonna be like a limitation to?
I met the
Oh,
owner,
yes.
and he knows well what he's doing, because on another building that he's doing, he didn't want to make big balconies because he has been renting properties for many years, and he knows that if he makes big balconies, then all of people's stuff ends in that balconies, and the balconies are not.
Yeah.
So he wants to keep the maintenance low, and that's why.
Yeah, we just had a separate application. We had that discussion, and because he is a seasoned residential property owner and builder, he's good at making sure that the aesthetics are maintained throughout the property. So one of the things were the balconies, and where people would put their bicycles and plants and make clutter on the balconies that would make it sort of detract from the aesthetic qualities of the property. We've eliminated those types of issues. In this situation, with him being able to own the retail components and the residential components, he has to service his clients that are the retail tenants as well as the residential. So he's had a really good track record of having that good balance. And he's done really well here, both in the city of Hialeah and throughout Miami-Dade County. So he's been a responsible property owner, and it's going to take on-site management to make sure that's operated properly, but he's been able to do it in the past.
Yeah, you consider the other application is on West 12th Street, where he's demolishing 8 three-story buildings, and he's building apartment buildings brand new. So
To the chair.
you see there the intention.
I mean, I think I've seen this in Main Street in Miami Lakes. Like, don't they have like the commercial and then the house
Yeah,
at the
yeah.
top?
Yeah.
So it's a pretty good concept.
Yeah.
And you're doing a good job with only one arm.
Yeah, I'm sorry about my appearance too. I usually wear a coat and tie.
No,
But
no.
I had surgery last week, and I'm
was that,
broken.
like,
I'm
court
broken
tie?
right now.
Thing that you
Yeah,
said,
so-
Well, you're wearing a tie.
Well, sort of, yeah.
Sideways.
So
I'm
Okay.
broken
can
today.
we put him out of his misery?
Any more comments or questions? What's the pleasure of the board?
Motion to approve with conditions.
We had a motion by Mr. Jimenez, second by Mr. Iglesias. Mr. Perez?
Yes.
Mr. Mason?
Yes.
Mr. Ulloa?
Yes.
Mrs. Enriquez?
Yes.
Mr. Iglesias?
Yes.
Mr. Jimenez?
Yes,
Item has been approved with conditions.
Thank you all very much.
you're welcome.
Item number 10. Ordinance of the mayor in the city of Hialeah, Florida, amending chapter 98 entitled Zoning, Article 5, Zoning District Regulations by adding new sections to Division 33 entitled MBD Neighborhood District. It related to incentives for mixed use, for mixed affordable housing units to provide a purpose, definitions, requirements and incentives, repealing all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict hereof, providing for inclusion in the code, providing for a severability clause, and providing for an effective date.
Okay, so what we're doing here is on the NBD, we are adding a new section, and this new section is called mixed affordable housing. So this means you reach the maximum density of the NBD, that is 70 units per acre, and then you can increase the density to 100 units per acre. But that difference of the 30 units per acre, half of those units need to be affordable, and affordable means 60% AMI. if you're a developer and you want to take advantage of the 100 units per acre, but you don't want to provide the affordable housing for 20 units, you can pay for each affordable unit $30,000 into a fund that will go to the Grants and Community Services Department, and they will use that money to help residents, to assist them with rent or certain things that they might need related to housing. So and for these units that are affordable, there are less requirements for parking, for areas. You don't need to have a mixed-use building. So I think it helps both parts, the developers, by allowing them to have more density, a possibility of providing the affordable or getting out of the affordable with something that will benefit the city, and also, well, getting the affordable units and those monies that would help someone that needs them. So that's basically that. Ordinance, we request your approval.
All right, comments or questions?
The mayor's the one that's sponsoring this?
No, this was an initiative from Council Member Tundidor that he created this affordable housing task force. So we had several meetings. We met with the developers and they all said, we want more density, we want less parking. So there is where the compromise came. So we were reviewing this for a couple of months. I don't know if you remember that we did a land use amendment that is now in the state. We're waiting for its approval, where we increase the density on the MBD to the 100 units per acre, and this is the zoning component of it.
All right, pleasure of the board. Motion to approve.
Second that motion.
So we have a motion by Mr. Ulloa, second by Mr. Iglesias. Mr. Perez?
Yes.
Mr. Mason?
Yes.
Mr. Iglesias?
Yes.
Mrs. Enriquez?
Yes.
Mr. Jimenez?
Yes.
Mr. Ulloa?
Yes.
Item has been approved. Miscellaneous items not requiring advertising. Item number 11, tentative plat of Murphy Palma.
Murphy Gas Station.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman. Jerry Proctor, attorney, 7600 Red Road, South Miami, attorney for the applicant.
Good evening.
So this is the application that you already considered at the last meeting for the gas station on Palm Avenue between 21st and 20th Street. The Department of Water and Sewers said there is an 8-inch water main abutting along Palm Avenue. There is an existing 8-inch gravity sewer. The sanitary sewer goes to pump station 04055 that is in conditional moratorium, and the allocation is allowed. If there is a change of use, approval is required from the City of Hialeah, Department of Public Works, and there. Fire Department, Police Department, Parks and Recreation, and Planning Unit have no objections. The Streets Department does not oppose the tentative plan. However, for the final plat to be approved, a detailed site plan must be submitted for review, and the existing 12-foot public alley must remain public. All illegal asphalt within public alley to be removed and replaced with salt. Those are the comments. The recommendation is approved.
Thank you. Are your site plans something similar to the one that opened on 74th Street in Medley? 74th Street and 72nd Avenue?
Not certain about those plans. We have already presented plans for this, and we have not obtained final approval, but we have obtained, I think, general approval, and we're working through some issues with staff. I'm not familiar with the one.
No, it's a nice station in a very, very nice corner too.
Okay, I'll keep that in mind. Mr. Chairman, this rezoning of this property was in front of the board in February, supported at that time and approved last night by council. This is the companion plat. We have no objection to the comments by Ms. Storr to the requirements, the site plan issues, and we are here to ask your support.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Comments or questions? All right, it's a pleasure of the board.
Motion to approve.
Second that motion.
And we had a motion by Mrs. Enriquez, second by Mr. Iglesias. Mr. Perez,
Yes.
Mr. Ulloa,
Yes.
Mr. Jimenez.
Yes.
Mrs. Enriquez,
Yes.
Mr. Iglesias,
Yes.
Mr. Mason.
Yes.
Item has been approved, subject to comments.
Thank you. Good evening.
Item number 12, old business. Okay, no old business. Item number 13, new business.
All right, we're at that point in time where we need to have elections for chair and vice chair, so nominate somebody.
I'd like to take a suggestion. We have with no disrespect to you, Ms. Enrique. We have Mr. Iglesias that has been a very long member of the board, one of the oldest members. I second to, I think, Mr. Perez. I'd like to suggest for him to be vice chair. I'd like to nominate him for Mr. Iglesias.
No, thanks. I will go ahead and honor for her to be doing the job that she's doing.
Okay, I just would like to have seen,
I really appreciate
Yeah, I
your
would think that it was.
generosity, but I think she's doing a great job.
Okay,
All right, so let's have a nomination for
For chair.
first.
For president, I think you're doing a great job, so I don't know, I'll vote you in.
Okay,
I don't know any of
So-
you guys.
all right.
second that.
So we have a motion by Mr. Iglesias and second by Mr. Ulloa. Mr. Mason,
Yes.
Mr. Perez,
Yes.
Mr. Ulloa,
Yes.
Mr. Jimenez,
See,
Mrs. Enriquez,
Absolutely.
Mr.
you.
Iglesias.
Yes.
Okay, congratulations.
Mucho sí, thank you, thank you, thank
So
you.
I
Thank
think
you.
we have a beautiful
If
group
it
and
ain't
everybody's.
broke, don't fix it.
Huh?
Yeah.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Listen, I agree with you 100%
All right,
on that,
I
but I really
nominate-
appreciate what you did.
Hey, I did it because you've been here such a long time. I think that you,
Thank you so much.
And you notice how I go about it. I throw it out there.
yeah, and that was no disrespect for you because I nominated you the first time, and I have much respect.
No
And
disrespect.
I'm super down with what anybody wants to do.
yes.
I appreciate that, and at the same time, it was an honor to go ahead and put her back in, and she's really doing a great job, so.
There you go. So I
Let's
guess
do
we nominate
vice.
her. I
Wait, are we nominating now the vice chair?
Yeah, let's do vice chair
I'd
now.
like to nominate Mr. Ulloa because he has come a long way from fighting and
I second that.
doing to like he's changed. He has changed tremendously. I don't know if it has been my
No, he has,
but he has a kind heart,
was sitting next to you.
Oh.
Yes.
And learning from Mr. Perez.
Yes.
Thank you.
So, and I know he enjoys talking, so this might be a good opportunity for him to learn from the best.
Okay, so we have a motion by Mr. Jimenez. I would need a second.
I'll second the motion.
Okay, second by Mr. Iglesias. Mr. Perez,
Yes.
Mr. Jimenez,
Yes.
Mr. Ulloa,
Yes.
Mrs. Enriquez,
Yes.
Mr. Mason, Mr. Iglesias.
Yes.
Congratulations. Bye.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
I'm honored. Really, I am.
Thank you all. Like Mr. Ulloa said, we're honored, we're privileged, and we'll make sure that we'll do keep doing the right work.
All right.
Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
And-
If there's no more new business, no more nothing,